So how was practice today?
It was good. We got good work in. Obviously, for us, it's a different scheme than we saw last week defensively, so we got to get ready in a hurry for one of the best passers in the game, and then offensively, it's a little bit different scheme too to get prepared for.
So this whole idea of wide receivers blocking, obviously very important in your offense. Do you look for that in guys when you're recruiting them in high school?
You hope that they're obviously able to do it and willing to do it, but either way, when they get here, they're going to have to do it at times and buy into the team part. Now, I've been everywhere we've ever been. Those guys have bought into it, and they're going to get their opportunities too. But as I said, when one guy scores on offense, they all score, and they all get to celebrate together.
Do you find that guys embrace that responsibility for the most part?
Oh, sure. Well, outwardly they will. Maybe inwardly sometimes they don't. But I've never had guys complain anywhere. They all want to have the ball thrown to them, but if you build a selfless program, guys will do what they got to do to win. And this group is, they're not the biggest group of wideouts, but they work really hard, and we take great pride in what we call got man. Did they get their man on their play? And that's a big thing that we look at.
So when you look at UCLA's defense, they've had a ton of injuries this year. Is it one of those things where you can kind of relate to, it's just some of the issues they've had, like you've had the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think they're probably getting some of them back for us, unfortunately, because they're really athletic and they've got good players. I mean, they're deep. I'm really impressed. They play a lot of people, and sometimes when you play a lot of people, maybe the next guy in is not as athletic, and that's not the case with them. So they've certainly recruited well, and they've got a lot of talented guys.
What did you make of DeAndre's return to the field?
I think it was good. He looked like it was his first game at times because it was his first game in a long time. But he played hard, and I think our expectation is that he'll keep getting better and better. I think everybody tries to improve as the games go along. He hasn't played in a long time, and it was good to get him back in the mix.
Some of the guys were talking about just his presence in the locker room and on the team having a positive influence, his leadership and so forth. Did you notice that as well?
Yeah, I did a little bit, particularly during the week in practice. He's been out there practicing for a couple of weeks, but for about a month he wasn't. He was out there, but he was working in rehab and strength coaches. And so just to have him out there, he's not a raw guy. He's kind of a quiet leader, but he is a leader, and he's been around and played a lot of good football for us. So having him back from that standpoint, particularly with all the young guys around him, helps.
So when Khalil was recruited, I know some schools told him they saw him as an athlete. Yeah. You guys from the beginning saw him as a quarterback. What was it when you first started watching him that you're like, this kid's a quarterback?
Well, we've had a lot in our history of guys that that could run and could throw, but for whatever reason people label him as an athlete, maybe a different position guy. And we look at him and say, hey, this guy's, because of what we do on offense, he fits. And that's helped us get some guys, and we've also identified some guys that maybe others didn't recruit at that position that we thought could be really good. And Khalil had, he probably, he ran well, but his throwing was what impressed us as much as his arm strength and even his touch in high school. And he's still a work in progress, still a lot to learn, but he certainly showed something last weekend, but his best football is still way ahead of him.
I know you guys didn't want to play him last year. You kind of had to, but do you think being thrown in the fire like he was, that kind of helped the learning curve a little bit this time when he was?
Oh, I don't know. It was such a throw him in so late and in a tough situation. It may have helped get some experience and all that, but I certainly would have liked to have it back. But you're trying to do what you do to win games. So I think it probably helped to have a little bit of experience, but he doesn't lack for confidence usually anyway. But now he's he's so much more comfortable with what we're doing offensively, and I would expect as the weeks go along, we'll get even more so.
Is his elusiveness his best quality right now?
It was more than I thought it was in that game. I knew he had some. I think he's got all he can make all the throws too, so that's a strength. But, probably more than anything else, his field vision, when he uses it correctly, can be really good because he has a natural field vision type of mentality. But now we just got to have him hone in on what are you're seeing it now. What exactly are you seeing, and then where do you go from there?
He really seemed to catch Colorado by surprise in a lot of ways, like they didn't know he was going to play or what he was capable of. How did things change for him or for you when you kind of know that the other team knows he's coming? You know that they're going to prepare some sort of a plan. How do you deal with that or adjust to that?
I don't think that was that big of a deal because we were going to run the same place with Brandon when we were in Khalil. And I would like to think because Brandon can run it, he would have got some big runs too. So really what we were doing, the scheme we were doing, I don't think they would have had a different plan for either way. It's just what he did is he made, maybe a 10 or 15-yard run into a 40 or 50-yard run. And I think Brandon can do that too, but Khalil certainly did that in that game.
When he played last year, you guys did not have Nick and JJ healthy. How much of a difference does it make for him or whoever's at quarterback to have those guys in the backfield?
Well, what it helped when you have Nick and JJ, particularly a guy like Nick and Zach Green, is they know the offense pretty well. So if there's a call or a check or something, the quarterback can stand there and talk to an experienced running back, and they can get on the same page. When they're both inexperienced back there, then it's like, okay, which guy am I going to listen to, right? So it helped a lot more at times when you have Nick, and he didn't need it as much in this game, but Nick and JJ and Zach can help him out.
You didn't expect the defense to give up 300 yards and all that, obviously, but did you expect them to encounter some bumps in the road along the way with so many young guys?
I did. I thought there would be some moments like this game. Unfortunately, I didn't want it to be this bad where we just simply couldn't get off the field and let them control the whole game from the running game standpoint. So, we've got to look at, obviously, what we're doing and how we're doing it, who we're doing it with, and making sure that we're not overloading the freshmen too much mentally, and that they're not forgetting about their fundamentals.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.